And I just decided that I didn't want to continuously be like everyone else around me who was just doing well and just getting by, just paying the bills. I am continuously becoming better. If I can make 8K online part-time, but what can I do when I'm full-time? I'm not staying. I'm going to a higher level. I'm working until like 12, 1, 2, staying with mom and dad at the time. Do you know what? I was making them proud in the process because they saw that I wanted to change my life. I also wanted to change theirs too. Yeah, I said to you, I want to become a unicorn closer. What that means to me is doing over 100K in a single month.
We're back in the room. Okay, so we just wrapped up our company presentation for Capital Closer, running through about 60 sales reps from our organization, what the new model and direction that we are going as a company. As you can see behind us, in terms of becoming a remote sales performance and placement firm. But we just want to kick these off with a member interview with Lewis Miller. A lot of you may know who Lewis is through seeing various other videos or whatnot, but I think it would be very good for a lot of people to understand a bit more about sort of Lewis's journey within remote sales and understanding his corporate sales background priors. These are the types of corporate sales reps that we want to work with, given that we think it makes sense and we want you on board our organization. But yeah, kick us off, big dog. Talk to us. When did you come on board now? Like what, 12 months ago?
Yeah, over 12 months ago now. November 2022 was when I first came across remote sales. 2024.
Yeah.
And yeah, you were the first name I saw. Thank God for that. And it's been, over a year now. Life's changed.
Yeah. What were you doing before getting into remote sales?
So I spent the best part of the 3 years prior to that in recruitment. As I said to you when I came on board, top biller, was doing very well, or well to a certain extent, but just wanted a change. And yeah, it's been, as I said before, a life-changing journey thus far.
What was the biggest thing for you being in a corporate sales role where a lot of the sales reps that we decide to bring on board, you are the top biller, you are the top performer. Like why? Because you probably have a lot of people around you. You're probably doing way better than your friends, making more money than them. You've probably got family saying, Lewis, you're doing so well. Yeah, got this massive salary. Why on earth would you even look to change that?
It's a good question. I think I always had that thing inside my head. I wanted to go from good to great. Like I read a book from Tim Grover and it literally was titled From Good to Great. And I've lived the past over a year now with that mentality that I wanted to just become better in every single way in all facets of my life. And I just decided that I didn't want to continuously be like everyone else around me who was just doing well and just getting by, just paying the bills. I wanted to drive the nice car. I wanted to take my family away on holiday. I wanted to make life-changing money, and you'll look back on YouTube at the first and ever interview I had.
Yeah.
And those were the exact things that I longed for.
Yeah.
And they were the exact things that I actually also ticked off in the past 12 months as well. So
yeah. So what was your journey sort of getting into the space from a very, very strong recruitment background, being a top biller, getting into remote sales? I mean, joining, let's say in November, what was your first sort of 30, 60, 90 days for people to understand?
Just totally immersed myself, totally, got to grips with what remote sales was, how it differed from the sales background that I already had, what it took to be a top closer, what it took to be a top rep in the space. And, when I speak to people about what I do now, yeah, okay, I'm a remote closer, but I very much see myself as something different to that.
Yeah.
Not only did I change lives, but I change my life every single day in, day out. The reason being is because I'm always hunting that next level.
Mm-hmm.
And being around individuals like yourself, Cal, Jerry, Yai, it's allowed myself to get to that position where I am continuously becoming better. And it not only helps, yes, you make more money, but it also helps every single relationship you ever had in life. You can look after family. You're better at speaking. You're better at holding yourself in a room. And, I just think I'm a totally different person than when we first spoke.
Yeah, you definitely were. Definitely are. Jesus, definitely are the way. When, okay, so the first 30, 60, 90 days, how did you find almost, I think a big two things that high level corporate sales reps that we want to work with, account execs, account managers, senior recruitment consultants, sales directors that we want to work with inside our organization, especially with the new model that we've just rolled out. It's very much a case of we're financially incentivized to make sure that when you win, we win. Our incentives are aligned. That's why we want you, because the better you are, the better roles we place you on, the more money we make, the more money you make. But with that being said, I think a lot of those people are thinking about, firstly, what does the ramp up look like? How do I go from selling in recruitment to then, for example, remote sales? And obviously the second one, which we'll touch on shortly, is the placement. So how did you find the sales process and learning it and all of that?
Don't get me wrong, it did take a bit of getting used to. Once you understand your process and once you understand what you're actually looking to get out of calls,
yeah,
then it becomes a lot easier to immerse yourself in that world and just become better all the time. So yeah, as I said, when I first came on board, it was very much just understanding the process, working very, very closely with yourself, with Jerry, who was already a high flyer when I came on board. And yeah, after a month and a half, you really start to find your feet, and outreach becomes easier. Yeah, you're able to talk to business owners and big people in the space, and actually have a lot of conviction and say, okay, cool. Well, I'm actually coming into this with a lot of experience, albeit it's not loads in this area.
Yeah.
But I was able to have way better conversations because of the stuff I'd learned working alongside yourself.
Yeah, they appreciate it big time. And then on the placement part, so joining in like in November, when were you placed onto a role, and what did the first like 1, 2, 3 months look like once you were placed on a role? How did that work?
Yeah, so I was actually onboarded onto a top US sales agency.
Yeah.
They kind of trained me up in their own way, essentially. It's a bit different, well, very different to the way you do it. And the way I saw it was, if I can find my feet in that, get placed onto a top role, then from there, it's literally being thrown in the deep end. You need to remember, I had never done it before. So do I back myself? Yes. Do I think that if someone else can do it, I can do it? Absolutely. So when I came on board, it was just about jumping into that role, finding my feet, making my first few thousand in commission, and the world is genuinely your oyster. It just becomes easier and easier, and the more the skilled you become, the more money you make. So I was well there.
And then that sales agency one happened. Then what role were you then placed on after? Because you did remote sales for quite a bit part time before transitioning full time. So what did that look like?
It was around about a couple of months. So first month, I think it was 4.9k
Part time.
Part time. Second month is just shy of 9k part time. And when I say part time, I mean like go to work at 6 a.m, get the train to work, land in the office for 9 to 5 working, head back home, get a bit of dinner. I was on a US offer, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And allowed me to start working at like 7 a.m. When I'm working at 7 a.m, I'm working until like 12, 1, 2, I stayed with mom and dad at the time. And I'll never forget, them going to bed and just seeing a ring light on in the dining room, being like, right, okay, he's still hard at it. And do you know what? I was making them proud in the process, because they saw that I wanted to change my life. But I've said it in every single video I've done with yourself, Connor, where I also wanted to change theirs too.
Yeah.
Yes, their life is not fully changed at the moment. It's changed in very many different ways. But as I say, it's just like continuously going to get better. So to answer your question, when I was doing that work at later in the evening, I then decided, well, do you know what? If I can make 8k online part-time,
Right.
what can I do when I'm full-time?
Yeah.
So I had my biggest ever month in recruitment.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 weeks before I went full-time. I was on a staff night out, and shout out to all the people I used to work with. They were generally really nice people who wanted the best from me, but they could only give me so much because it's a corporate environment. And I'll never forget, I was speaking to the MD, and we had a conversation. It was like, oh, when we get through this month, trust me, I've got some big things planned for you. You're going to get a promotion, this, that, and next. And I had already made up my mind in my head, thinking, I'm not staying. I'm going to a higher level. And thank goodness I backed myself.
Because then what happened that first month after that chat when you made the move full time?
I made 10 grand more than I did the month before, 18.8k. And then from there, it was a 26k month straight after that.
So what's been the last year like for you? Like, this has been a year. This isn't like, oh, nice 1 month, nice two. Like, you've been doing it a year now.
Mm-hmm.
What's the last year been like, whether it's earnings, whether it's what you're doing, with the role that you're on and going to be on? Like, what's the rundown?
I've made, a ridiculous amount of money compared to what I was making before, 15 to 25k each and every single month. I've, built an amazing group of mates. I'm with Connor, Jerry, Fenny, Cal, Yayan, all the boys. And, you need to remember that you are the median of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I'm blessed to say that I'm around about 15, 20, 25 people that I genuinely look up to in many different ways. So not only have I allowed myself to travel many different countries, we're talking Marbella, Ibiza, London many times. We've been Barcelona, all around Europe basically. Paris, got my back tattooed in Paris, which was pretty cool. To make it even cooler, it was literally like a Monday to Wednesday. Didn't really need to let anyone know. Take it off, just close the calendar. No paid time off. So I've done a lot of things that I'm one, proud of, but very excited to say that I had them on my list anyway before I came on board. And yeah, traveling the world with your mates, making money for mates, looking after family. I got one of my dream cars, which was a big moment as well. And yeah, I'm continuously allowing myself to be in a better position to not only change my life, but my girlfriend's life and our future family's life as well. So solidifying a bit of a a generational journey, to say the least.
What's next for you then, big dog?
So yeah, I've landed a couple of huge roles with sales leaders, thanks to yourself. I'm currently in the AI algo space at the moment. So working very much in trading, but automated trading. And as much as I've got a real interest and a real passion for that sort of things myself, it's really cool to be in that space because, you know, as we all know, AI is very much the future. I think the stat altogether, the amount of volumes being traded in the trading market across all markets at the moment, most of that, well over half, is actually algorithmic. You know, so if I can be at the forefront of that, scaling offers, working with incredible people in the fintech, technology, AI,
Absolutely.
finance space, then yeah, you know, honestly, I think 50, 60, even 100K a month is very much within my sights.
No doubt.
The first conversation we had, you said, what do you want from this?
Yeah.
The first proper conversation when I met you face to face.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
And I said to you, I want to become a unicorn closer. What that means to me is doing over 100K in a single month. Long way to go. Yeah, but I have the belief of not only yourself, my boys around me, Inside Capital Closer, but I really believe in myself as well, and I know I'm going to get there.
100%, 100%. Yeah, just with context, I mean, Lewis is obviously on some fantastic remote sales roles at the moment. We've just sort of recently taken on board a fantastic partner at Sales Leaders, which we are really, really excited for, and, you know, perfectly aligns with us as a company, the types of individuals that we have, very high caliber corporate sales professionals. And you know, if there was a product in the company for us to be, you know, working with, it's exactly this. And you know, we won't say too much, but it's in the sort of finance AI trading space. And yeah, I mean, ticket prices are very, very, very high. Yeah, and you know, they're not your 5K, your 10K, your 50Ks. They're a lot higher than that. And this man is at the forefront of the sales team alongside one of the other guys from Capital Closer, Tom Groove. So it's going to be very, very exciting, and no doubt that he's actually going to smash it. Yeah, great to have him on board the team. It's our pleasure. Thanks, big dog.
Thank you, dog.
There we are.